Hopefully you watched the last video and you had a chance to discuss with a partner about a family tradition that you might have and get an opportunity to ask your partner those who, what, why, where, when, and how questions. And we're going to move over to page 37 in your anthology. At the top of the page it says key words, and if you notice the box at the top right hand side, the key words are associate, confront, preservation, sensitive, and tolerance. And then you'll notice down below in the reading, all those vocabulary words, or keywords I should say, are both bold-faced and they're highlighted. They're used in context, as they say. They use those words to demonstrate the definition of those words. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to read aloud this page to you, and then I'm going to ask you to do something with those words when I'm done reading. And so take a moment and make sure that you're on page 37 in your Reach for Reading anthology. If you're not, please pause the video and then go ahead and get to page 37. When you're ready, go ahead and hit play again and then follow along while I read this. Keywords, social studies vocabulary at the top. Look at the photograph and read the opinion. Use keywords and other words to talk about the choices people make about culture. So when you look at the picture, you see all kinds of different people in the photo, from different cultural backgrounds, and they're all smiling and they're all waving and laughing and what have you. Our world is filled with people from many cultures. Because we are all not the same, it is important to be aware of and sensitive to people's feelings. We should never angrily try to confront people who are different. Instead, we should treat people with respect, acceptance, and tolerance, because this is a world that we all share. Many people make choices based on their cultures or beliefs. For example, the hijab is a headscarf that people associate with or connect to the Muslim faith. And many people want to keep their traditions the same because the preservation of their customs is important to them. They want to keep their cultures alive for many future generations. So notice when I read this aloud that all of those keywords are used in that paragraph, I should say in those two paragraphs, in a way that help you understand what they mean. They're used in context, and that's what that's called, context, when you're looking and learning about the definition of a word by reading how it's used. So in a moment, what I'm going to ask you to do down below, it says talk together. And what I'm going to have you do is in the discussion section in this assignment in Google Classroom, I'm going to have you post your discussion, your response to this question. And then I'm going to ask you to respond to at least 2 classmates. And that way we can do this without having to stay, all together as we go through this. You can do this in your own time. So talk together. At the bottom of the page, it says, what choices do people make about their cultures and traditions? What choices do you make to understand the cultures and traditions of others? Use language frames from page 36, the previous page, and keywords, those are the words that I just read, to pose and respond to questions with a partner. That's what you're going to do in the discussion forum within the assignment that I'm posting on Language Arts for this week. Remember to elaborate on your ideas and include comments that contribute to your discussion of the topic. So what that means is we're going back to those who, what, why, when, where, how questions. Don't just ask questions that require somebody to answer with a yes or no. We don't get much information when people are just answering yes or no to a question. Like I mentioned, those who, what, why, when, where, how questions will require somebody to give you more information and thus help you learn more. And it's also important to remember when we're having these discussions that, as it says in this paragraph, in the first paragraph on page 37, it's important that we stay sensitive to the beliefs of other people, even if we don't hold those same beliefs. We be respectful with people who hold different beliefs because we would expect the same from them when we tell them about our traditions and beliefs and what have you. And so when you're wanting to talk about these things, so things about using the keywords in your discussion, making sure that you use those words for practice. So, for example, the word associate. Think of the word associate. Um, what the word means is that it's when you closely connect one thing with another. You're making a close connection. I'm associating something with something. For example, if I think about going to a baseball game, the one of the things that I associate with going to a baseball game is getting a hot dog. I associate hot dogs with a baseball game and summer and fun. So I'm making that connection. I'm making that association. I'm associating. So practice with all of your other key words that you see on page 37, and in the discussion forum, in this discussion column, post your discussion, then respond to at least two other people in your class. Okay?